What do you think about the
No,
new
but that's your
Foya and the
daughter.
videos coming out?
Well, I hope they all come out soon.
You're
What do
hopeful
you
for them to come out?
Yeah, I want all of them to come out.
Gypsy's not worried?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I think that it's important for everyone to see everything.
Keep making content.
She never wore a wig with me. She never had to. She always had her real hair with me. So just say it. Never once did she wear a wig with me in any character, anything. Did you think I liked hearing that shit in a couple of videos? No, I didn't. Like, it wasn't a turn on, guys. It wasn't. It wasn't.
Hey friends, like I said the other day, I have finally gotten a new computer and I am able to search the email document again. And I started going through looking for Disney because I remembered seeing some emails where Gyp said from prison that her dream job when she got out would be to work as a character at Disney. So I've pulled some screenshots for us to go over, friends. Let's get into it. Real quick, my usual disclaimer, these prison emails were obtained through the Freedom of Information Act and the Missouri Sunshine Law. All prisoner communications are subject to the Freedom of Information Act requests. Okay, this email is outbound from Gypsy. I didn't screenshot the date and timestamp on all of them, but I did on some where it seemed kind of important to note in the timeline. So this one was sent outbound from Gypsy on February 28th, 2021. Before we jump into the emails, I wanted to go over Gypsy and Ryan's timeline real quick. And thanks to little Frodo over on the GRB Snark Backup and GRB Evidence Reddits, we have an easy timeline right here, friends. Some of these emails appear to be from Ryan and Jeff. And also it's important to note that Gypsy and Ryan got married in 2022 because some of them are post 2022. And Gypsy and Ryan met July 2021. So Ryan, in one of his recent interviews, made a big deal about how, they had a little relationship before they actually met, whatever. But once they actually met, that's when Gypsy knew she actually wanted to be with him. That's when everything really started. Let's go ahead and get into the emails, friends. Okay, so this first one is February 18th, 2021. This is February 2021, and that's right around the time that Gypsy and Ryan started talking, but she was talking to a lot of other guys during this time. I can't remember who this one was that she was emailing to, but she says, "Hello, Jedi Master Blank. Smile. Or are you Jedi? Jedi or Sith? I would pick Jedi, but I do like to be a little bad sometimes. Wink. I discovered Star Wars when I was about 10 years old. I grew up with the prequels, and my favorite character was always Padme as far as the prequels go. She was a hero in her own right, and I feel like the newest sequels and the character Rey reminds me a lot of Padme. The women just kick ass just as much as the guys. I have so many Star Wars books, novels, graphic novels, comic books. I don't have them anymore, but I plan on rebuilding my collection. If you can buy the Book of the Jedi, or if you like the Sith better, or you like both equally, there's also the Book of the Sith. I wasn't disappointed when watching the newest movies. I feel like Lucasfilm partnering with Disney was a good decision. Disney has just the reputation that Lucasfilm needed and a big enough fan base to keep fans watching for years to come. Smile. You sent me a photo of you with a stormtrooper from your trip to Orlando. Have you been back to Orlando since Disney built a new Star Wars edition to the park? Instead of just the ride, there is a whole new area of the park that opened a few years ago. I want to visit Orlando and see the new addition. If you can wait just under 3 years, perhaps you and I could go together. Smile. So I am laying in bed thinking about you. You look like you could keep a woman hot. I think you would be pleased with the curves of my body. My breasts are a good handful, as is my ass, if you could see me. And then it cuts off there. So my point of sharing that one, friends, is Gypsy and her people always like to say, oh, she changed so much in prison. Where we don't see that. We see the exact same behaviors. Hello, Jedi Master Blank. That sounds like one of her video openings to Nick, y'all. And this was 2021, just 2 years and some months before she was released. She's attracted to a guy who sent a photo of himself dressed up as a stormtrooper. Y'all remember all the pictures of Gypsy with the stormtrooper garrison, volunteers or whatever? Also, did y'all note the mention that she remembers and intends to rebuild her comic book collection?
We're on our way home, by the way, from Kansas City. We stopped at Barnes & Noble because I need my comic book because yes, I do read comic books. I read the Star Wars and Star Trek comic books, so I needed my new comic. Anyway, yeah, I'm filming a dashboard. Anyway, it is me, Gypsy, speaking right now, and, so I'll let Demona talk for a little while with me.
Okay, now the next one that we have is in 2022, October 13th, 2022. I'm not sure who this is to. She sent this email quite a bit, or else the prison accidentally copied it several times. This is a year and 3 months after Gypsy and Ryan met. And Gypsy's dream job is still to be a character at Disney World. That tells me two things. She never stopped wanting to dress up, even when she was with Ryan, in spite of what he says. They talk about cosplaying different Disney stuff and things quite a bit, friends. And once again, just like the Build-A-Bear thing that I mentioned in my last video, she always wants a job around kids. So most of this is pretty boring, favorite movie, Star Wars, Harry Potter, favorite food, Cajun gumbo, blah, blah, blah. Favorite color, pink. I found that interesting. She has said at times that she's outgrown pink. But here in 2022, she's listing her favorite color as pink. Number 8, what is your pet peeves? And she says, ignorant people and people that take advantage of others. Number 9, are you gay, straight, or bi? And she says, I am bi-curious. I've kissed more girls than guys, but I am married to a man, though. Number 10, who is my hero? And Gypsy says, myself. Because when shit hits the fan, all I have is myself that has to do all the work to get me through. Wow. Can we think of anything she's done on her own and not by proxy other than maybe go to Chillicothe and do her time while, fin-doming, tricking men through emails? Anyway, number 16. What is your dream job? She says to be a Disney character at Disney World. Because, dressing up and Disney, that was supposed to be part of the abuse, keeping her as a child. But we see her talking in 2022. She wants to be around kids and dress up like a Disney character for a living. Now, this next one came up as I was searching for Disney. So you can see down here at the bottom email. But I want to read this top email too, because she has made such a big deal about never getting paid for the act. She did because a producer of the act decided to reach out to her and personally give her a gift of a $50,000 trust fund. They decided to keep it on the down low. They didn't want people to know. So here, December 31st, 2020, inbound to Gypsy, it says, hi, Gypsy, greetings from California. In January, another $20,000 will be deposited into the trust account, putting the total at the final $50,000, which will remain in the trust until you get released. So you can use it for housing, therapy, education, or whatever other essentials you need. Also, the lawyer who helped create the trust, when I last spoke to him, advised me to encourage you to avoid telling people about the funds that will become available when you get out. So there's less likelihood anyone will try to take advantage of them or pressure you to give them money that's intended for your health, education, etc. It is, of course, yours to do with as you like. The discretion is just a suggestion. I hope you're doing all right. Happy New Year. At the end of one of the strangest years I can remember, I can't imagine what your experience has been like. And I hope you're as safe as you can be and that your family is safe and well too. Here's to 2021. Blank. Believe that was Nick Anticosto, if I remember his name right. One of the producers of the act. Okay, and then the one that I actually came to this section for is here at the bottom. It was sent on August 18th, 2020. And here Gypsy's trying to downplay how much she likes Disney to someone. She says, that app sounds cool. Unfortunately, I have no access to apps or the internet while in prison. These emails are only through a certain email service that is only email. I like Disney still. They have some good movies, but I've grown up a lot over the last few years, and now I'm more interested in other things. I'll always love the idea of fairy tales, but I have been in the real world for a few years, and I know life is not always magical. I thought I had found my prince and was so sure he was the one, and he abandoned me. I am not so keen to give my heart. Anyway, the last line is cut off. But yeah, during the same time period, she talks about wanting to be a Disney character, like throughout these. You'll see more emails like this. She tries to downplay the Disney because she knows that's supposed to be part of her abuse. Friends? Or do y'all think I'm reaching? Let me know if you think I'm right or I'm reaching. Like I always say, it's totally okay to disagree with me in the comments. The people who've been here a long time, I think, will attest and agree to that. Now, this little group here is between Gypsy and Ryan. They had been talking for around 6 months at this point. And I want you to take note, friends, that Gypsy is talking to Ryan about other dudes. They're clearly not quite together. And Ryan apologizes for being too flirty. But Gypsy's already suggesting that he bring his nephew up. Even though they're out of order in the screenshot, which is how the original document is, I'm going to read them in date order. So on August 7th, 2020, we have an inbound from Gypsy, and this is from Ryan. And he says, "Hey, Gypsy, my bad for being so flirty today, Friday, with my emails. I will stop if you don't like it. I just don't like it when you get so upset about stuff. So I wrote emails that would boost your self-esteem to let you know that you are amazing and wonderful. Any man would be lucky to have you, and I hope you realize that, Gypsy. If they don't, then they're absolutely batshit crazy." And then on August 8th, 2020, we have an outbound from Gypsy. And she says, "Blank is no longer a part of my life. He could not let go of the fact that I hadn't moved on from Blank, and he feels like second best. He said he knows I did my best to apologize and move on, but at the end of the day, it was too impactful and it's impossible to work through that. It hurt having to be told yet again, this isn't working, we need to go our separate ways." And he flat out said, "I'm rejecting you right now." Like, he cut ties and really drove it home that our friendship relationship can't be fixed or worked out. I cried and let it soak in, listening to the whole breakup mopey song playlist. Scoreboard ruined relationships too, well, 3 if you count Robert. Blank wasn't the first, but he is the last. Never again. My Alcatraz walls I just put up just became Azkaban. Any man who comes 5 feet of me is getting their soul sucked out by a Dementor, LOL. And I've joined Voldemort's crew of baddies, practicing the... And then it cuts off. Then on August 9th, we have 2 outbounds from Gypsy. One says, "I was thinking if you wanted to come up to see me for the first time by yourself, you can. And if you do decide to visit a second time, you are welcome to bring Blank with you. You just need to fill out a visiting form for him as well, which I could send you that. Smile. I have a mission for you. I want you to take 5 selfies and take a few pics of your place so I know what it looks like. Smile." And then her next outbound on the 9th says, "I know you hate country, but listen to this one. Just for now, Maren Morse." And then on the 10th, we have an outbound from Gypsy. It says, "If you want to know anything about the Star Wars universe, go to wikipedia.com. And if you want to know a bit about the character story arcs I was talking about, look up Jason Solo, Jaina Solo, Alana Solo, Ben Skywalker, and somebody else is cut off." And then on August 11th, Ryan replies and says, "Well, I guess with the Blank situation, you just like being Mama Gypsy. Ha ha." And then Gypsy and Ryan start talking about Pepe Le Pew, which I found really interesting because we did not know that Gypsy referred to her and Nick as Pepe Le Pew and his, girl until we saw this anniversary video that she made for Nick in the newly released FOIA files from Into the Weeds. Okay, so that's why I found this particular batch interesting. So we've got outbound from Gypsy. "I call Walmart Wally World, LOL, but yeah, I want to go to Disney World as well, especially since the new Star Wars edition is there now. I challenge you to a saber duel when I get out." Inbound, Ryan says, "Oh yeah, Walmart, haha. Duh, I feel stupid now. And you do have a lightsaber I was talking about though, otherwise it would be impossible for you to have children, ha ha." And then inbound, Ryan says, "So I'm Peppy, and you are my lovely little pussycat." And then inbound again, Ryan says, "And as memory serves me, Peppy does finally get his lovely little pussycat after he kisses her in some of the cartoons. I told you I'm a really great kisser, so you might want to be careful, ha ha." And then we've got an outbound from Gypsy, same day. She says, "OMG, I'm watching a Pepe Le Pew cartoon, and that is you. LOL, that's us. 100%. You are Pepe, and I'm the black and white girl cat. LOL. I have this astrology book, a fire sign, and you're a water sign." And then on the 12th, inbound from Ryan. This is a weird one, friends. And keep in mind, him and Gypsy have not met yet. So according to him, they weren't really official. Ryan says, "I am glad that you are back to wanting to have a kid of your own. I know that is something you really want. You have given me some good tips to help my sick boy, Mama Gypsy, so I know you'll be a wonderful mom, seriously. and you want to have one pretty quickly when you get out. I might be curious on who you got lined up as your baby daddy. Ha ha. And honestly, hell yeah, I would to kiss you. What kind of question was that in the first place? Ha ha. I would like to do more than that if I could, but I don't think that is allowed during visitation. Ha ha. The real question is whether you want to or not. I guess that I will have to wait and see. So yeah, he was already role playing parent with her before they even met. They'd only been talking through emails a few months. She's advising him on the health of his nephew. Weird friends. Ryan's freaking weird. And also, yeah, he's Pepe Le Pew. He didn't know Nick was the first Pepe Le Pew. Now here is June 1st, 2020, Gypsy Disney fangirling. Just watched Frozen 2. So good. Equally as good as the first. I feel they added more songs in this one, but the plot ending was great. You gotta watch it. That's all. I just wanted to share my Disney fangirl moment. LOL. You're literally like the only one that knows this stuff. LOL. Yeah, because she's trying to pretend to the rest of the world that that was part of the abuse, keeping her like a little kid so that people don't know that she liked pretending to be a little kid. She tries to keep her Disney fangirling a secret and tell other people like, oh, I've seriously outgrown that. We know better, friends. Then here's another one where she was kind of trying to downplay it a little bit, but really just kind of comes back to her regular self, you know? This is July 1st, 2020. Gypsy says, well, I am definitely the nerdy type. I love Star Wars. That's my number one. Harry Potter is a close tie. I'm also a big fan of anything fantasy related. I do like the occasional Disney film. I just saw Frozen 2. OMG, loved it. I am a mix of kind of a fairy tale princess with a kick-ass goth undertone. LOL. I like both The Animal Planet and The Bachelor. However, I haven't watched The Bachelor since I had my breakup. Watching all the kissing makes me depressed. I do love 90 Day Fiancé on TLC and Love After Lockup. I was actually asked to be on that show with my ex. We declined though. Tongue face. Not really a horror fan unless it's around Halloween. I do love underworld movies. That's about all I go to on and then it cuts off. So there are a few interesting things to note there. First off, she said, I am a mix of a fairy tale princess with a kick-ass goth undertone. Well, that's what she was pretending before she had Dee Dee murdered. She would go out with her mom dressed up as a little girl fairy tale princess, and then we know she was dressing up as Demona and Ruby and Harley Quinn and Bella and Emma and whoever else the hell. More keep turning up. So yeah, this is 2020, 3 years before she was released. And she's like, I'm a mix of a fairy tale princess with a kick-ass goth undertone. That's exactly what all she was pretending to be before the murder. Like I keep saying, friends, Gypsy has never changed. This one kind of was very sad to me. This mom actually wrote Gypsy and told her that her 16-year-old autistic daughter idolizes her and was going to write her. So the inbound is, Dear Gypsy, hi, my name is Blank. I'm 16 and I have autism. I just watched your story on Hulu and it made me very sad. I hope you are okay. Is your favorite color purple? Do you still like princesses? Do you play basketball? I play basketball. Do you play softball? I play softball. I hope to hear from you. And Gypsy says, hello, Blink. How are you today? I'm doing all right. Yes, I do still love Disney princesses. My favorite will always be Belle. Smile. My favorite color is sapphire blue and pink. I do not play basketball. I'm not a sporty girl. It's a talent I just don't have. LOL. But I do draw and paint. Smile. Thank you for emailing me. I hope you have a happy day. Hugs, Gypsy Rose Blanchard. So yeah, I just thought it was very interesting that even though she's sitting in prison for having an autistic man commit murder for her, that is sentence. And just say, she still had no problem with communicating with an underage autistic child. I realized the mother emailed her. I wonder if that mother would have emailed her that had these videos that we're showing come out during her trial. I feel like Gypsy should have had sense enough to say, I'm in here because I had an autistic man do murder for me. I don't think it's appropriate that I write your daughter. But no, she would never do that. She thinks she's an actual hero and everything, friends. Now here she is in March 2023 trying to, once again, distance herself from Disney. Thank you for writing. Although I am not that same little girl I was, and life is so not a fairy tale, and no, my husband is not Prince Charming, because that version of what relationships are is a fantasy. Real love in real life is hard. The point is, I have had 8 years to grow up, and I am far beyond those little Disney dreams and princess dresses. And it was the tragic thing that out of all the people, I had to meet a psychopath. Blank will spend the rest of his life in prison, and that is where he needs to be. I regret how things turned out every day of my life, but I am determined to be a voice for those who have gone through child abuse. I also want to prevent anyone from making the same mistakes I did. Oh, that's her advocate era she goes in and out of and has for years. Now, this one kind of irritates me, friends. This is March 3rd, 2020. Outbound from Gypsy. She says, "Hi, Blank. How are you? Actually, I love everything British. I used to watch BBC shows like Doctor Who and the BBC versions of Merlin, Robin Hood, and Sinbad. All those are my faves, and I binged watched all of them. LOL. I also have been intrigued with the royal family for years and years. I watched both royal weddings on TV. I actually got to see Princess Diana exhibit when it was nearby. The exhibit showcased her dresses and her jewelry. I do still love Disney. Belle has always been my favorite Disney princess, but if I had to pick one that I am most like as far as personality goes, Anna from Frozen, that quirky awkwardness she has is me 100%. If you were a Disney princess, who would you be? I just watched the live action Lion King. So good. As someone who grew up on that movie, they did a great remake. Smile. Okay, first off, I'm pissed off as a royal family fan that Gypsy likes them. I'm also pissed off that she got to see Princess Diana's stuff exhibited. She didn't deserve that. But yeah, she was 100% fanning over Disney and still just as into Disney as she was before the murder, even though she eventually gets some advice to pretend that that's not the case. We saw it still when she got out. I'm not going to read all of this one. It's kind of boring, but just Gypsy, blah, blah, blah about Facebook group drama. But I thought to one of her aunts, and I thought it was interesting, though, where she said, if I ran a group, it would be a kumbaya fest compiled of hugs and rainbows. LOL, anyone up for a Disney sing-along? Let's make like Elsa and let it go. Smile. We see how her social media presence has been since she got out, friends. She's got quite a skewed opinion of herself, always has. And here's that same email again. Like I said, it showed it several times. Let me go back and see if the other one had a different date. Nope, same date. It's just in the file multiple times. So yeah, remember the, I'm not the same little girl and Disney dreams are done was in 2023. And here in 2022, at the end of 2022, she's saying her dream job is to be a Disney character at Disney World. Now here we got December 10th, 2022, and she's talking about Ryan. Outbound from Gypsy. I love Blank so much. He does anything to make me happy. So I thought of a themed visiting picture for this winter. I asked Blank to dress up as Kristoff from Disney's Frozen, and I'll go as Princess Anna. LOL, I can't dress up. However, I can do my hair and makeup to reflect the character. Like I said, we always have fun. Our goofy sides are great together. I'll let you know how it goes and when we take the picture at our next visit at the end of the month. Okay, so tell me, friends, I don't really consider, Disney cosplay or Disney adults role playing. But does this count as role playing? Because Ryan said we sure didn't role play. Wasn't no costumes, dress up, no wigs. Well, she sure would have had a wig on if she could have. So what do y'all think, friends? Also, I thought it was interesting where she said our goofy sides are great together because it sounds like she's separating out her personalities again. And this one here, I forgot to get the date on this one, but it is post her getting the trust fund, and she tells them she doesn't think she's ever going to be able to watch the act, and the production team used her actual name and story without consent or life rights to do so, and therefore she does not receive any financial profit from it. She's able to say that because she didn't get that trust fund from the act royalties or anything official. She got it directly as a personal gift for one of the producers. Anyway, and then once again, she says, P.S. My favorite Disney princess is Belle from Beauty and the Beast. And this one is between her and Jeff, I believe. And she says, you asked what kind of pics I would like for wallpaper. I do like fairy and dragon art. So if you Google dark fairies or anything that is fantasy, not Disney princesses, LOL, just some of the more elegant, sexy goth or fantasy art, I'd love any of that. That sounds like the stuff she was sharing with Nick. Now, this one is during the pandemic, and the most part of it is pretty boring, but at the end, there's questions again. And number 5 on the question is, if you could do anything for work and not worry about money, what would it be? And Gypsy says, work at Disney World theme park. Then this is one here where someone asked her if she could receive packages at prison, and she says, no, I can't get any packages. My week was crazy with my new job. I'm a photographer for the women who want pictures taken. Smile. It keeps me uber busy. My favorite color is baby blue and pink. Favorite Disney princess is Belle. Smile. Does this sound like someone who's grown from who she was before the murder, friends? And once again, here she says she was never compensated for the act in this one and her dream job working for Disney World. Okay, and then this one I believe is to Melissa Moore. And she's talking about the book. The whole thing's pretty interesting here. So I'm going to read the whole thing, friends. She says, hi, Blank. I just wanted to talk to you about a concern regarding the book. I want for this to be as honest to reality as possible. So being open and real about the way I felt and my actions in the past are important. When I was going over events with Blank yesterday, she brought up some of the texts between Blank and I on that night of the crime. Basically, in a nutshell, I don't want the relationship between he and I to be over romanticized. Other platforms have done that to where they make he and I sound like Bonnie and Clyde. Well, that is not the case. Very few know that starting in 2011, I was on my secret Facebook account. I met many men online and confessed my undying love to each and every one of them, saying things like, "You are the love of my life." I was 18 and 19 years old, and I believed I was in love with every one of them and would meet Blank being one of them and the main target of my obsession after the night I ran away to be with him. However, just because I was infatuated with Blank didn't stop me from flirting and even enticing other men online. I met some as old as 50 plus years old. His name was Richard Keene from Missouri. My mother found his in my conversations on Facebook when she eventually caught me using Facebook on her laptop. And she actually called him on the phone to threaten calling the police, claiming I was underage. He never spoke to me again. My point is, I was young and maturing beyond Disney fairy tale movies. The concept of true love was blurred to me, so any man would have received such claims of love from me, and that is what I want to showcase rather than Blank and I being in love. I was not in love with Blank. He was just another object of my obsession. To have someone love me and that idea of a Prince Charming that I placed on so many others before him, when in reality, my relationship with Blank was very unhealthy and toxic. It was dark and fucked up. And all that I ask is that the true facts and feelings that occurred. Y'all are doing an amazing job. I trust y'all 100%. Okay, so first off, her prison emails and her actions after she got out of prison show that she really didn't ever mature beyond Disney fairy tale movies. And second off, she often claims as her defense that she was just so deeply in love with Nick and like groomed and GROMED and other stuff, and she was obedient. She had to do exactly what he said. But in this one, she openly admits that she was talking to a bunch of other dudes. It seems obvious to me, friends. Nick was just the only one willing to do murder for her. What do y'all think, friends? Let me know in the comments. We'll go out with a little palate cleanser, and I hope everyone's having a good day.